Alright, this is the follow-up to our free pick from last night, HYC. These are 15-minute candles to show you the setup, what it looked like last night. Now remember we said 978, somewhere around that area, this one could go. Now unfortunately, you can see what happened. It triggered, but it triggered, these are 15s, let me switch to 5s. There's the opening candle, alright. It triggered in the first 5 minutes. I can't get on board taking a trade like that because it happened so fast, and most people probably wouldn't be able to get in anyway. I don't like taking trades in the first 10 or 15 minutes, but we have a rule in our chat room: if something hits one of our trigger prices as established by the daily chart from the night before, like in this case HYC around 978, if it happens in the first 5 minutes, typically we won't take the trade. We'll look maybe for another way to enter, but it made such a big move in the first 10 minutes. It did close strong, by the way. So if you happen to grab that, and let me rephrase it, I'm not opposed if you were able to grab this around 978 right off the bat, knowing that you'd stop it if it took out the low of the day. I'm not opposed to it, but in the interest of safety and running a chat room with a couple hundred people, I typically try to steer people away from it. As an individual, if you happen to catch this at 978, real happy. You know, if anyone did well on that today. As a rule in the chat room, we didn't take it. We may have had members take it as individuals, but I never made the call on it because it triggered too early. I actually did something a little out of the ordinary today. Let me show you VRML, a little thinner stock than I would normally call. Okay, thinner meaning it doesn't trade a very good average volume at all. As a matter of fact, back here it was like under 100,000 a day. Something I would normally never call, but when you get this kind of pop, in 2 days over 15 million shares, and then about a 4 or 5 day pullback, I did have this on bounce watch, even though it doesn't meet my minimum average daily requirements because of this volume spike here. Okay, so I had this on bounce watch. Now let me switch to 5 minute candles and show you how I called it. I actually called this twice today. This is the opening 5 minute candle right here. I called it over that 5 minute high. I have a kind of a rule: if I have something on bounce watch because of the daily chart like I just showed, and then it, here's yesterday's close, and then it gaps up, I can go ahead and maybe try a break of the 5 minute high. Okay, if it gaps up. So if it gets up here, that's where I called it. The entry price 486, stop down here in the high 470s. So less than a dime, but you can see what happened. It triggered, came back to our entry, gave us all about 5 or 10, almost maybe 15 minutes, at least 10 minutes to get out flat because it didn't follow through. Okay, when it came back, didn't take out the low of the day and was right back up here. I called it again, told everybody I was buying this around 492, anywhere underneath the high of the day in the low 490s, because I said after the first 30 minutes, if you get a high of daybreak, it's more apt to work on a chart like VRML. So the first call didn't work, gave us a flat or a small loss, but then I jumped in again around 492 as I called in chat. Another 5 minutes, it's threatening the high of the day. 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, just ripped. Very nice percentage gain there, and I think a lot of us were in this in the low 490s, and actually made it all the way to 570. So I'm not sure. That's almost an 80-cent move on less than $5 stock, so well over 10%, probably close to 15% at the highs there. So real nice one there for our members. Couple other examples of what an idea I gave today. Didn't make this an official call. But I told everybody in the room, ARO, after this huge gap down, these are 5 minute candles, up over this base, I said over the microphone, 1754, 1755 area, it could get through this last bounce of 1759 and make a move toward the high of the day, and that's exactly what it did. And the stop would have been less than a dime below. Now, like I said, it won't be on the results page, so it didn't make it an official call. It was one of those that I mentioned, hey, this could work. Pretty low risk, and made it all the way to 1850. So almost $1 move in our favor on a dime risk for anyone that took that. Steck was beaten up about a week and a half ago. We've been watching it for a bounce ever since, and then it had good news last night and after hours. So big gap up today. I'll show you why I called Steck where I called it at 1631. Gap up. The high was 1634. Shorts just couldn't knock this down. It kept climbing, trying again, and so I said over these little spikes here, this should and could get through the high of the day. So I called it at 1631 with a stop at 1610. And there it is, 1631. Gets it through the high of the day, and it makes it all the way to over 1680 on about a 20-cent risk. And then we had some smaller stuff today too, like Cree. One of our members using the method we teach mentioned the idea, and I actually took this one somewhere right around here. I can't remember the exact entry with a stop right there, and it gave us a good 30-something cent move. TSL, one of our members posted this idea in chat today. Again, like I said, not all the ideas are mine. One of our members posted TSL using a method we teach right there with a stop right there. And the thing ends up taking out the high of the day. I'll give you the numbers. And this was not my call, but I watched one of our members do it on exact teachings that we work on in our chat room. 21.21 was the entry, and the worst case stop 21.13. Okay, so 8 cents risk. TSL makes it from 21.21 to 22.13 at its highest. Again, not my call, and I didn't get any of it either. But I was real happy for the member that did, and it made perfect sense. I just was watching too much. But anyway, a real good day today. I'm going to leave it at that. We'll send out another free pick one day next week. Sorry that HYC didn't really meet our parameters, but hopefully some of you caught that early pop and made a nice trade. And we'll send out another one next week. All right, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later.